After Princess Adan expressed her desire to marry Prince Ukandu, a heavy silence descended, shrouding the room in awkwardness. Arin withdrew his hands from hers, creating a palpable distance between them. His eyes reflected a mixture of sadness and shock, betraying the depth of his emotions. After all these years of standing by you and my family, embracing you despite your circumstances, Arin's voice quivered with emotion. This is how you repay me? I can't believe you're letting me down again. Adanne felt a pang of guilt as she witnessed Arin's pain, yet she endeavored to elucidate her difficult decision. I understand your unwavering support, Arinza, but remaining with you is a challenge for me. As royalty, I must adhere to the expectations of marrying someone of equal status to uphold my family's legacy. Please try to comprehend, she pleaded, hoping for his understanding. The prince has promised to bestow his blessings upon you and your family, along with a substantial sum of money, Adan continued, attempting to sway Arin with practical rewards. He will construct a grand mansion with guards and servants, a fitting reward for your years of devotion. However, Arin remained resolute, vehemently shaking his head. I aided you out of love, Adan. I never expected anything in return, he declared adamantly. I refuse the prince's offer. Money holds no sway over me. I helped you because I care for you deeply, and that sentiment requires no compensation. As Adanne grappled with Arin's steadfast refusal, she realized the true depth of his love and selflessness. Despite the allure of wealth and security, Arin's unwavering devotion remained unyielding. In that moment, she understood that some bonds transcend material rewards, and the truest treasures lie in the sincerity of the heart. His steadfast refusal to accept any reward lingered heavily in the air, leaving Adan with a sense of disappointment. She had hoped that Arin would understand her predicament better, but his unwavering stance remained unchanged. With a heavy heart, she sighed deeply, realizing that Arinza couldn't be swayed by material enticements. As she prepared to bid farewell to the kind-hearted drummer who had loved her so deeply, a wave of sorrow washed over her. I've come to share my decision so that it doesn't come as a surprise later. Adan spoke softly, her voice tinged with sadness. Thank you for everything, Arinza, she managed to say, struggling to maintain composure as tears threatened to spill from her eyes. With slow, deliberate steps, she rose from her seat, preparing to depart, leaving Arin heartbroken in their once special meeting place within the forest grove. As Adan walked away, Arin watched her retreating figure with a tumult of emotions churning within him. A mixture of sadness, anger, and betrayal coursed through his veins, leaving him feeling utterly desolate. He had always accepted Princess Adan, despite the challenges posed by her curse, but her decision to marry the wealthy prince solely for status and riches struck him to the core. In the solitude of the forest grove, Arin wrestled with his conflicting emotions. He couldn't fathom how Adanne could prioritize wealth and status over their bond forged through years of mutual understanding and support. The pain of her departure cut deep, leaving him grappling with a sense of loss and betrayal. As the echoes of their parting lingered in the air, Arin knew that their once unbreakable connection had been fractured by the allure of worldly desires. Despite the ache in his heart, Arin resolved to move forward, guided by the rhythm of his drum beats and the memories of their shared moments. Though Adanne had chosen a path divergent from his own, he would always cherish the love they once shared, preserving it as a bittersweet melody in the tapestry of his soul. And as he played his drum beneath the canopy of the forest grove, Arin found solace in the timeless rhythm that bound him to his ancestral roots, finding strength in the echoes of a love that transcended the bounds of time and circumstance. As Arin packed up the remnants of their once shared dreams, he couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal gnawing at his soul. With each fold of the picnic blanket and every untouched berry tart, the weight of Adan's choice bore down heavily upon him. The hidden paradise they had envisioned, free from the constraints of royal obligations, now lay shattered before him. Everywhere he turned, reminders of their shared aspirations mocked him, serving as painful reminders of what could have been. The life they had meticulously planned together seemed like a distant memory now, overshadowed by Adanne's decision to prioritize wealth and status over their bond of true love. With a heavy heart, Arinza slowly made his way home, the burden of heartbreak weighing him down with each step. The once familiar path now felt foreign and hostile, mirroring the turmoil within his soul. As tears blurred his vision, he struggled to make sense of the sudden unraveling of their relationship. As he walked, Arinza found himself replaying their last conversation in his mind, searching desperately for any sign that Adanne's feelings had wavered. Perhaps she never truly loved him, he thought bitterly, grasping at straws to ease the pain of rejection. Yet, amidst the turmoil, he found no solace, only a deepening sense of hurt and confusion. With each passing moment, the distance to the village felt like an eternity, stretching out before him like a barren wasteland devoid of hope. Despite the ache in his heart, Arinza knew he had to face the reality of Adanne's choice and the inevitable repercussions it would bring. And as he trudged onward, his spirit weighed down by the weight of shattered dreams, Arinza couldn't help but wonder if true love was nothing more than a fleeting illusion in a world consumed by the allure of wealth and status. Arinza dreaded the inevitable task of confiding in his father, Chief Uzo, about the heartbreaking turn of events. The kind healer had been a staunch supporter of their relationship, offering guidance and even performing rituals to lift Adanne's curse. Now, Arinza found himself grappling with the daunting prospect of admitting that Adanne had chosen wealth over their love. The mere thought of seeing the disappointment etched upon his father's face sent shivers down Arinza's spine. Chief Uzo had invested a great deal of trust in Princess Adan, believing in the purity of her intentions. The revelation that she had forsaken their bond for worldly gain would undoubtedly crush him. However, Arinza understood that he couldn't shield his father from the truth, no matter how painful it might be. With a heavy heart, Arinza resolved to honor his father's trust by revealing the entirety of what transpired in the forest grove. He owed it to Chief Uzo and to himself to lay bare the harsh reality of Adanne's decision. Perhaps his wise father could offer insight into the complexities of human nature, providing solace and understanding in a time of profound confusion. As Arinza prepared to face his father, he found reassurance in the knowledge that he wouldn't be navigating this tumultuous journey alone. With Chief Uzo by his side, armed with ancestral wisdom and unwavering support, Arinza knew that together they would find a way to navigate the stormy seas of heartache and betrayal. And so, with a deep breath and a heavy heart, Arinza set forth on the path to truth, guided by the light of familial love and the strength of generations past. As Arinza reached his father's herbal hut, Chief Uzo immediately sensed his son's distress. The village healer rushed out and enveloped Arinza in a comforting embrace, his face reflecting concern. "My son, what troubles you?" Chief Uzo inquired gently, holding Arinza at arm's length to scrutinize his troubled expression. Arinza took a deep breath, the weight of his words heavy upon his heart. "Father, Princess Adan has chosen to marry Prince Ukandu instead of me," Arinza confessed, his voice laced with anguish. Chief Uzo's shock was palpable, but he remained silent, allowing Arinza to unburden himself fully. Arinza felt a profound gratitude for his father's patience and wisdom as he recounted the painful revelation. "The prince offered great wealth and even a grand house, with servants for our family if Adan married him," Arinza explained, his voice trembling with emotion. "But I refused his offer. I didn't do things for her expecting anything in return." Tears welled in Arinza's eyes as he recalled their heart-wrenching conversation in the forest. "My love for the princess was pure and unwavering. Doesn't she care about that after everything we've been through? In the embrace of his father, Arinza found solace, allowing himself to release the pent-up pain and anger that consumed him. Chief Uzo's comforting presence offered a sanctuary for Arinza to confront the depths of his heartache, knowing that he wasn't alone in his sorrow. Together, father and son shared a bond forged through shared trials and tribulations, finding strength in their shared heritage and the enduring power of familial love. The old healer remained silent for a while, his touch gentle as he stroked Aaron's hair, a comforting gesture reminiscent of their bond from Aaron's childhood. Eventually, Chief Uzo spoke, his voice calm yet tinged with sadness. "I share your sorrow and anger, my son," he began softly. "To see your wholehearted love rejected for material gain is indeed a profound insult." Arinza nodded, tears still streaming down his cheeks at the validation of his feelings from his father. At least Chief Uzo understood the depth of his hurt and betrayal. But then, to Arin's surprise, Chief Uzo continued, his tone measured yet resolute. "However, we must approach this situation with maturity, considering our esteemed positions." Arin looked at his father, confusion etched on his face. Was Chief Uzo suggesting they simply accept what had transpired? Sensing Arin's bewilderment, Chief Uzo elaborated further. "Do not fret, Arin. There will come a time when not only the kingdom, but the entire world will honor and celebrate you. You need only to be patient and strong, like the mighty oak trees that endure countless storms." Arin absorbed his father's words, finding solace in the wisdom and reassurance they offered. Though the pain of Adanne's betrayal still lingered, Chief Uzo's guidance provided a glimmer of hope for the future. With his father's support and the resilience of spirit passed down through generations, Arin felt emboldened to face whatever trials lay ahead. And as they sat together, father and son, enveloped in the comforting embrace of familial love, Arin found strength in the knowledge that, like the sturdy oak, he too would weather the storms of life and emerge stronger on the other side. Chief Uzo's voice took on a tone of unwavering determination as he imparted his wisdom to his son. "Just continue being the honorable man you are, Arinza. The right time will come when everyone will recognize your true worth. That recognition holds far more value than any fleeting wealth." Arin furrowed his brow, grappling with his father's enigmatic words. "But father, what do you mean? Please, explain clearly because I don't understand," he implored, seeking clarity amidst the confusion. Chief Uzo's smile remained gentle as he placed a reassuring hand on Arin's shoulder. "Do not worry, my child. When the time is right, you will understand fully. Until then, trust in the wisdom of our ancestors. They have always guided us well." Though still uncertain, Arin found solace in his father's words. With a slow nod, he felt a glimmer of hope rising within him, despite the sting of Adanne's rejection. Perhaps there was a greater plan at play, one that he couldn't yet comprehend. Sensing his son's resolve, Chief Uzo embraced Arin tightly. "Thank you, father. Your words bring me comfort, even if I don't fully grasp them yet," Arin admitted, returning the embrace with equal fervor. "I'll try to stay brave and move forward, just as you said." Pride swelled within Chief Uzo as he held his son close. "That's my boy," he murmured, his heart swelling with paternal affection. Together, father and son stood united, ready to face whatever trials lay ahead, guided by the timeless wisdom of their ancestors and the enduring strength of their bond. As the evening shadows lengthened, father and son found solace in their unyielding bond and the unseen powers that watched over them. Chief Uzo nodded approvingly at his brave son. "That's my brave son. Now, let's brew some calming tea from willow bark. You've had a tough day." Meanwhile, Princess Adan pressed forward with her plans, drawing closer to Prince Ukandu with each passing day. She met with her father, King Chuka, to inform him of her decision. "Father, I've already informed Arin about my intentions to marry Prince Ukandu, Adanne declared firmly. King Chuka's expression darkened at his daughter's proclamation. He reminded her of his earlier counsel, urging her to allow things to unfold naturally. "Why are you rushing into this?" he implored, his voice tinged with disappointment. "And why are you discarding the love and support Arinza has given you?" Though he couldn't force his daughter to marry against her will, King Chuka made his disapproval clear. "Our ancestors will bear witness that I do not agree with your decision to abandon the man who stood by you through everything," he cautioned solemnly. However, Adanne remained obstinate, unmoved by her father's concerns. Blinded by her attraction to wealth and status, she forged ahead with her plans to marry Prince Ukandu, heedless of her father's warnings. In the ensuing weeks, she remained oblivious to Arinza's unwavering love, her heart swayed by the allure of material riches. As the preparations for the royal wedding unfolded, Prince Ukandu's people conducted all the necessary ceremonies, paying Adanne's full bride price to King Chukmia. The anticipation for the grand event mounted, attracting nobles from all 5 kingdoms to witness the spectacle. As the ceremony commenced, Arinza made the difficult decision to watch from the back of the crowd, silently bearing witness to the union he had hoped would never come to pass. His heart shattered as he observed the woman he loved exchanging vows and sacred rituals with the arrogant prince. Surrounding him, whispers and pitying glances spoke volumes about the painful situation he found himself in. Some shook their heads in disbelief, unable to fathom how Princess Adan could forsake a love as pure as Arinza's for the allure of wealth and status. Despite the anguish gnawing at his heart, Arinza remained resolute, determined not to succumb to the prying eyes of strangers. He watched the proceedings with a stoic facade, suppressing his emotions until the newlywed couple departed amidst a shower of flower petals and cheers. Only then did Arinza allow a few silent tears to cascade down his cheeks, a poignant expression of the pain and heartache he bore in silence. Turning away from the bustling street, Arinza struggled to maintain his composure, his head held high despite the heavy burden weighing on his heart. With each step, he felt the weight of loneliness pressing down upon him, enveloping him in a shroud of solitude. Suddenly, a gentle hand rested upon his shoulder, halting his solitary journey. Arinza turned to find King Chukmea gazing at him with profound sadness and sympathy. "My son," the king began, his voice tinged with regret. "I wish there was something I could have done to prevent this day. You deserve better than this unfairness." Arinza shook his head, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "If this was the princess's choice, my king, then maybe she was never truly mine to keep in the first place," he admitted with a heavy heart. King Chukmea offered a comforting hand on Arinza's arm, his voice filled with reassurance. "Do not lose faith in that belief just yet, young man. My daughter may have been momentarily blinded, but I believe her heart will eventually find its way back to the path of truth." Arinza found a glimmer of hope in the king's words, a flicker of light amidst the darkness of his despair. Through the pain of Adanne's betrayal lingered, he dared to believe that love's true essence would prevail in the end. With a grateful nod to the king, Arinza resolved to cling to that hope, trusting in the resilience of the human heart to overcome even the deepest wounds. The tired king followed Arinza away from the prying eyes and gossiping mouths, seeking solace in the quiet refuge of Arinza's small, simple hut. They walked in silence for a while, each lost in their own painful thoughts. As they approached the humble abode, King Chukmea broke the silence. "You know, when Chief Uzo brought you into our lives all those years ago, I felt like there was something special about you," the king confessed, his gaze filled with a mixture of sorrow and admiration. Arinza regarded him with confusion, prompting King Chukmea to offer a sad smile. Yes, there was something remarkable about the humble drummer boy who exhibited more bravery, honor, and kindness than many royals I've known. You supported my daughter when she was at her lowest, when others might have turned their backs on her. Stopping outside the hut, the king turned to face Arinza, his expression solemn. That day, I made a promise to the spirits that I would treat you as my own son, recognizing the crucial role you played in Adanne's journey. And that promise still holds true, despite her current mistakes. Arinza felt a surge of emotion upon hearing the king's words. Despite the turmoil and heartache of the day, he was reminded that he was still considered part of the royal family. "You've faced a great injustice today, my boy," King Chukwueze continued, his tone grave. "But we must believe that the ancestors haven't completely abandoned you." In the midst of his despair, Arinza found a glimmer of hope in the king's unwavering support. With a nod of gratitude, he welcomed the reassurance that even in his darkest hour, he was not alone. Together, they would weather the storm, guided by the enduring strength of their bond and the steadfast belief in the wisdom of their ancestors. "There are still greater stories waiting to unfold," the king said softly as he reached out and warmly embraced Arinza, allowing him to finally release his grief against his shoulder. They stood like that for a while, sharing their sorrow over Princess Adan's decisions. As Arinza managed to calm down a bit, the king held him with a proud look. "You've shown amazing dignity and grace through all this. Remember, heavenly forces notice people like you, even when the world doesn't see your admirable spirit." With those comforting words, King Chukwueze gave Arinza's shoulder a reassuring squeeze before making his way back to the palace. Arinza watched him go for a moment, feeling emotionally drained but slightly encouraged by the thought of mysterious forces still at work. Entering his simple hut, Arinza reflected on the day's events. Though he had lost the princess, he realized he had gained something precious, a father figure who saw his true worth beyond his common status. It was a small comfort, but it gave him the strength to face the uncertain future ahead. Upon returning home, Chief Uzo was waiting outside, knowing Arinza might need comfort after such a tough time. As soon as Arinza approached, the healer enveloped him in a tight hug, offering solace in the embrace of a father figure. They stood like that for a while, finding solace in each other's presence amidst the trials and tribulations of life. He could feel his son's body shaking with suppressed sorrow. Finally, Uzo gently held Arinza's face in his hands and looked into his tear-filled eyes. "My son, your heart has been through a lot, but don't lose hope or faith in the bigger plan," he said with sincerity. Arinza tried to respond, but the pain and confusion rendered him speechless. How could he feel hopeful after witnessing the love of his life pledge herself to another man? Sensing his son's inner turmoil, Chief Uzo spoke in a gentle yet firm voice. "Aaron, you've shown incredible patience, honesty, and bravery through all this. The ancestors have surely noticed." Leading Arinza into the hut, Chief Uzo settled him down on a woven mat before taking a seat across from him. With a small pouch in hand, the healer sprinkled a strong-smelling powder into a bowl and waved it under Arinza's nose. "Breathe this in, son. It'll help calm your troubled mind," he murmured softly. Arinza inhaled the soothing smoke, feeling it momentarily numb his pain. As the tension began to ebb from his body, his father continued to offer comforting words and wisdom. "What you've been through is one of life's hardest tests," Chief Uzo continued, his voice filled with empathy. "To give your whole heart to someone only to be rejected." Chief Uzo shook his head sadly. Princess Adan might have been blinded by the desire for material things after suffering for so long, or there might have been darker spiritual forces leading her away from true love. Regardless of the reasons, you need to let go of the anger, resentment, and sadness in your heart, he advised, patting his son's knee gently. Otherwise, those feelings will eat away at you like a chronic illness. Arinza finally spoke, his voice tinged with defeat. "How can I let go of the pain, father? Adanne meant everything to me. She was my whole world. Without her, what future do I have? The healer's expression turned determined. Aaron, there's always a future and a purpose for those who've suffered greatly. The ancestors wouldn't let you go through this tough time without a reason, Chief Uzo asserted. You should rest now and try to sleep. We can talk more later. With that, he took a small pouch and sprinkled a strong-smelling powder from it. Chief Uzo waved it under Arinza's nose, the scent inducing drowsiness. Soon, Arinza succumbed to a deep sleep. 3 years later, Princess Adan and Prince Ukandu were married and had a son named Chick. One day, shocking news spread across the 5 kingdoms. The High King, the new ruler, was finally coming true. She looked forward to the power and status that would come with being the Queen Mother. However, as the day of the coronation drew nearer, a sense of unease crept over her. Meanwhile, in the quiet village where Arinza resided, the news of the High King's passing reached Chief Uzo and his son. Though they were far removed from the grandeur of the capital, the repercussions of the king's death rippled through their humble abode. As the 7th day approached, the atmosphere across the kingdoms was fraught with anticipation and uncertainty. All eyes turned to Prince Ukandu, the heir apparent, as the time for his coronation neared. Yet, amidst the preparations and the gathering of dignitaries, a shadow of doubt loomed over the proceedings. The fate of the kingdoms hung in the balance as the momentous day arrived, marking both an end and a new beginning. And in the midst of it all, the choices made by Princess Adan and Arinza would come to bear unforeseen consequences on the future of the realm. As the day of the coronation arrived, the anticipation in the air was palpable. Crowds gathered from all corners of the realm to witness the important event, adorned in their finest attire. Chiefs, priests, and noble people alike converged upon the ceremonial grounds, their eyes fixed on Prince Ukandu, who stood poised to ascend to the throne. With eager anticipation, Princess Adan watched as the priests commenced the intricate rituals and chants that would signal the beginning of the coronation ceremony. Yet, as the proceedings unfolded, a sense of unease settled over the crowd. When the time came for Prince Ukandu to prove his rightful claim to the throne by lifting an ancient staff, all eyes were on him. With confidence, Ukandu stepped forward, but to the astonishment of onlookers, he struggled to move the staff from its stand. A hushed murmur swept through the crowd as confusion and concern mounted. Princess Adan's heart sank as she realized that something was amiss. Despite Ukandu's attempts to remain composed, his failure to lift the staff cast a shadow of doubt over the proceedings. With the weight of uncertainty hanging heavy in the air, Ukandu implored the gathered assembly to remain calm as he continued his futile efforts to move the ancestral staff. But as moments passed without success, whispers of disbelief and apprehension rippled through the crowd, signaling the onset of an unforeseen twist in the destiny of the realm. Finally, the head priest managed to quiet the restless crowd. "Prince Ukandu, it seems the gods have decided that you aren't meant to be the king," he declared solemnly. Ukandu protested vehemently, but the priest persisted. "I already knew you weren't the true firstborn son, but I waited for this test to reveal it to everyone," he explained, his voice resolute. As the realization sank in, the crowd erupted into a cacophony of disbelief and confusion. Despite Ukandu's preparedness to ascend to the throne, it became evident that fate had other plans. The head priest urged Ukandu to accept the divine decree. "Don't fight it, Prince. The spirits have decided. The true firstborn heir who should be our High King hasn't been revealed yet." With a heavy heart, Ukandu acquiesced, acknowledging the immutable will of the gods. The uncertainty lingered as the crowd grappled with the sudden upheaval in the line of succession. To ascertain the true heir, the head priest announced that all men would undergo testing to determine their royal lineage. This proclamation reverberated throughout the 5 kingdoms, setting the stage for a momentous event on the next market day. With the coronation ceremony abruptly halted, confusion and apprehension clouded the minds of the populace. Prince Ukandu and Princess Adan retreated to their hut, consumed by sorrow and despair. Meanwhile, Chief Uzo observed the unfolding events with a knowing smile, recognizing the hand of destiny at play. As tension simmered and uncertainty loomed, the fate of the realm hung in the balance, awaiting the revelation of the true heir to the throne. And with the promise of further twists and turns in Princess Adan's story, the anticipation for the epic conclusion soared. If you're eager to see the final part of this saga and witness the epic conclusion of Princess Adan's journey, continue to comment and share your excitement. Your feedback will guide us in delivering the thrilling conclusion to this captivating tale. Stay tuned for Part 4 to be released this week.